What's going on, guys? National Master James Canty III here. Today we're looking at transforming an advantage. This is from Tournament Guidebook, the axioms, one lines, and mantras, the book coming out. So all right, here we go. This game is Akiba Rubinstein versus Yefim Bogolubov. Bogo Indian dude, the guy from the Bogo Indian, Bogolubov. That's how you say it, but it's very hard to say, obviously. And it's Yefim, so very strong. We know him, but very hard name. So in this position, though, it's white. It's actually black to move. Last move was queen to g4. And this is transforming an advantage. Transforming an advantage. So, yeah, this is going to be a little tactical, but also very strategical today. So you're going to be looking, and let's first off look at the position and see what's going on. So it's black to move, and first off, these bishops are very, very sharp, as of course they're almost swiping the board, and I say almost because this bishop's blocking it, and this bishop's kind of blocked, but it can be kicked as well. But we have an open H file. So in this sense, with black having double rooks here on the file, but you can't really do anything because sacking exchange wouldn't be good here if you're playing black, for instance, moving the bishop somewhere, and then sacking exchange wouldn't help as much, especially with us having, some real threats on the H file here. In fact, white is just slightly better. White is better in this position. So with that being said, we're trying to transform this advantage. So of course, take a second, pause the video, see if you can find something to do. Actually, hold up. Bishop b5 was the move by Bogo. That's what we're going to call him, Bogo. Because Bogo Indian, Bogo. Very easy for us to refer to him. So Bogo here with bishop to b5. He plays here because he's trying to trade off one of the bishops because these bishops are very strong. Having the bishop pair is an advantage. So after bishop to b5, white needs to figure out what do we want to do here. Now, in fact, looks like probably bishop takes e4 and maybe taking twice, but you do give up the c-pawn in that case. That's why he's playing bishop b5 to try to loosen the defender, remove the defender, that's a theme, so that he can capture this pawn on c2. Bishop b5 is on the board. What's the plan? What do you do? What's the plan here? White to move. What are you going to do? You got the bishops pointing, you got the H file, but he's also trying to do his own, his own thing over here on the C file and the queen side of the board. White to move. Here we go. Hope you're ready. Here it is. Bishop takes e4, big fella. Bishop takes e4. Why bishop takes e4? We're obvious. We just want to take it, get rid of this knight. Of course, we looked in the last one. Remember, what did we say? You gotta go. You remember that from the last video. That says that's you gotta go. When they cross the line, they have to go. And what was the line again? Anything 1 to 4, gotta go. So with that being said, this knight is across the line, and because it is, we have to get rid. Bishop takes e4 for the score. Pretty simple there. D takes right back, and then we go, hold up, here it is. What's your next move? Queen takes e4, rook h3, c3. That's for me. That's a move right there, defending everything, saying, hey, go ahead, take it if you like. And he's not going to take this. He's definitely not going to take this, obviously. But now let's evaluate this position. So what's going on? Well, we have opposite color bishops. In fact, this one looks like a pawn, but it's actually not. It's actually not. It can be opened up. Eventually, it can also be moved around and maybe even used into this attack as well. We have the H file, so it may seem drawish, but in fact, white is the one that's really playing for something here, especially with the H file being open and having the E pawn being weak. Black played bishop to c6 to defend, and now, of course, we need this plan again. What do, right? He basically has the same position he had before with the exclusion of the knight. Because the knight's gone, but these pieces were already here, so he really didn't make much progress. So white here, what do you do as the plan? Do we go rook h3 now? Maybe we go for it, but then maybe he could just start running for the hills immediately. And almost, in some cases, even like doing something like, this is strange, king f8, king e7, rook g8, king d8, king c8, king b8. Nuts! Absolutely insane, but very, very much a possibility in these type of positions where you getting attacked. And they coming for your head here. So bishop c6, h4 though is what Akiba Rubinstein chose. H4, I'm just going to use the H file with a smile, pushing Harry the H pawn. What's up, big dog Harry? H4 for the score. And you got rook H3 or rook G3 coming, especially with H5. So after H4 comes, okay, black says, you know what, we need to defend. Queen E8, trying to be cool here, trying to do something, maybe playing F6 and unlocking us for, unlocking the rook at least to help defend. But this bishop's extremely strong. So F anything is going to be answered with en passant. Queen F4, strong move. Actually, just making some room for the rook. Rook to G3 and probably H5. Black plays Bishop D5, trying to do whatever we can. Look at the blockading and look at the dark square strategy. That's actually what they call this, the dark square strategy. I actually used this in round 1 of Chicago Open. Oh no, it was World Open. Yeah, it was World Open. You can check that playlist too as well. But round 1 of World Open, I played the Scotch Gambino. Scotch Gambit, a favorite of the channel here. But I used the dark square strategy where I had all of my pieces literally on the dark squares. And if you notice this, he has a light square bishop. So this bishop technically, in a way, is hitting air. Hitting air. Right, so it's not hitting anything. So this is why the dark square strategy is very, very good. So after rook to G3, this is pretty nice, hitting the file with a smile here, putting the pressure on the king. The X-ray is here. I tell students all the time that you should not sit in the X-ray. This is just not cool to sit in. So he steps out the way, king H7, get out the way, have a nice day. Now here you could have played rook H3 immediately, even queen G4, H5. But of course, Akiba Rubinstein wanted to keep preparing the attack, and the best attacks are prepared. So rook E to E3, just doubling the rooks in a way, sideways double one time. Rook E to E3, putting some extra protection here, maybe even tripling or doubling it here, and maybe playing, you know, rook H3. Everything's happening for white here. Everything's happening in a great way. So after rook E to E3, we have queen A4 getting out of the way, and honestly just making a move. But there are some threats down here. There's a line in here that can go wrong for white in certain cases. So queen to G4, we step out of the way. Queen G4, putting some pressure here. And we're trying to, you know, convert this advantage. It's only a matter of time here. And how is white doing this plan-wise? Getting all of the pieces that I have in the area that I'm the strongest, and I get them there as quickly as possible. The H pawn, the queen, the rook, this rook. We're going to put everything over here and you know, throw the sink at them and hope that it works. H5 is going to work at the right moment. Rook H8, so this was a good move here. Honestly, just trying to protect the king and also maybe trying to run the king to the hills. Rook H8 and H5, and we live. H5 is very strong. You can't take, obvious reasons, you get mated, and that's just not a move, big fella. Mating, we great. So if you go G5, we take on G5, and then G7's hanging. So he just steps out the way and says, forget it. King G8, I'm out the way. Whatever. Now H takes G6, F takes G6, and now here, what would you do as white? Take a look around the board, take stock. I know you're feeling good in this position as white. You're like, yo, I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good right now. Let's go. Like, I'm winning this, right? So some of y'all probably gonna take on G6, and if you take on G6, oh my goodness, you might as well. Hey, you have blocked with your face. Start a new game. Reset them. My goodness, walk away slowly. Don't knock everything off the table. Hopefully you have insurance for that. Because that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Premium 100% natural Cambodian face blockage. Right there. Start a new one. GG. That's not a move. It easily can happen like this. This is why you look for checks and captures literally every single move. So after F takes G6, rook H3, I'm out the way, have a nice day, and now I can play king H2 if I need to. Now, of course, the queen's defending D1 right now, so we don't have to worry about that. And after we do this trade of rooks, his best piece, we just talked about that in the last video. Highly recommend you go check out the last one. But the most active piece, what was Black's most active piece? The rook on H8. Honestly, I mean the queen, pretty active, but definitely this rook's helping, and it's annoying, and he's on the H file, so he can use it just as much as we can. So we trade it, and now we get the H file back again, with queen G6 being a threat, queen H4 maybe, queen D8, right? So at E3, this was a last ditch effort. In fact, queen E8 was the lesser evil. White's still winning, but it's the lesser evil. It just takes longer for white to do things. But E3 is more like, all right, we got to do something. We got to open the bishop lines. I am tired of this. So he actually just takes on G6 and says, forget it. I'm going to take on G6. There's lots of mates and things that can happen. In fact, let's actually take a look at a small line sample here. What happens if he goes E2? Because that's like, oh, I'm about to just queen. I'm about to just queen here. And in fact, the engine says, let's see what the line is. Queen h7, king f7, rook g3. Yo, rook g3, you just gonna let the man queen? That can't be right. Oh my goodness. White is winning here. King e8, queen g8. Yo, this was unexpected. Like this was not planned. We did not, like this was not planned here. King c6, queen e8. This was not part of the video. Now y'all have something extra here. King b7. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. What is this madness? What are we looking at right now? And white is +3 still. White is somehow +3. That's insane. That was insane here. In fact, the only move was e takes f2. This was actually the game, the real game move. But e2, I just want to see what happened here. And I am like astonished here that this is a real thing. Rook g8, queening, king h2. Like there's nothing you can do. So I guess this is just mate everywhere. It's just mate everywhere. You had to run for the hills. In fact, any other move is mate. Any other move, like let's say like queen d5, rook takes g7, and then it's mate on the back rank. So there's nothing you can do about that. What about king f8, queen h8, king e7, rook mate? Oh my goodness, that was sweet. That was unexpected. That was fire right there. I'm not even gonna lie. But queen takes, e takes f2 is what Bogo chose here. So after bishop takes f2, queen to d1 check, and then king h2. I'm out the way. Have a nice day. Rook e7. We're defending, we're holding, but white is crushing. We have all the play, we have all the checks. Our pieces are better, and you have to remember in these opposite color bishop in games like this, sometimes you know the bishop. Well, this bishop's doing a great job of attacking g2, and this bishop can do the same thing over here on this side to attack, but they can't oppose each other. So they are not the best defenders, but they are very great attackers depending on what happens. But rook e7, c4 was played, and this move was actually interesting to me. C4 was very interesting. In fact, he's just trying to get him off the fight. He wants to play rook f3 after check. So that's what c4 was about. C4, it was very interesting to me, and actually bishop takes g2 was one of the good moves from the engine, but he backed up. He just wanted him to take, to be honest, because there's so many other moves you can make, right? And c4 was very interesting. It's actually the top engine move. Tell you how strong the Keeper Rubinstein was. c4 was the right move, and after bishop takes, then you can check. You can check, and then you can check on rook f3. But the bishop's defending f3, so that's why he played c4. So he backed it up, hit him with b5, and then he played queen e2 here. But if bishop to b7, queen e2 was the move here, and let me actually just show you guys what happened. Queen e2 and takes and resigns. That was it. I'm like, oh, that was it. That's it, right? So, which we're gonna look at the rest of it too. But after bishop here, b5, let's look at bishop b7. So bishop b7, best move is check and check, right? There's also rook d3. Top move is check though. And then let's see, and then rook g3. Wow. Okay, well let's see it. And then king e8. Okay, so after king e8, how do we finish this off? Engine shows us check and then rook d3, it looks like. Yes, I see that. So what about rook f7 then? The idea here is if king f8, oh, rook h3 works apparently. But rook d3 is more human-like, like this works immediately. Rook h3, I see king g8 there, so that's kind of strange. But rook to d3 though. Rook d3 threatens rook d8 and the queen, so that's an obvious win there. Pretty easy. And of course, if he goes this way, same thing, rook d3. So rook f7 would be the only move here, and then rook h3, it says. Ah, yes. Now this check is deadly. And I got the bishop. We just talked about the dark squares. Like even this, let me show this sample line here. Oh, this mate. Something's mate. Really? I saw bishop h4, but oh yeah, he just steps off and you take the rook. That's why it's mate, of course. I was seeing this, forgetting that f7 is actually mate. But this is strong, very strong, realizing and transforming an advantage. Very, very strong stuff. The game ended right around here, actually, after b5. Takes, queen takes f2. Well, this is after b takes c6, Keeper Rubinstein officially won this game. Now I was like, okay, well, what happens? You know, you always want to go a little bit further to see. Queen takes f2, queen check. Of course, bringing the king over. Honestly, it was very simple from here. And also, you're down a piece as black. So if you don't take your piece back, you just go down a piece. So when you do take the piece, now you're down an exchange here, meaning the queen here in this case, and this one's also queening. This one's decisive. This one's game over. But this was realizing and transforming. Actually, we say realizing an advantage. That's from mastering chess middle games. So familiar with saying realizing an advantage, but transforming an advantage when you have one takes some skill and realizing what you have and actually preparing them. The best attacks are prepared. So just from this game, you want to make sure you prepare your attacks. Rook to g3, right? And actually it started right here. The combo started right here. After bishop b5, we could look to trade it. Many of you would, or many of you would play something else and not even trade at all. But in fact, he said, you know what? I'm going to lock up the game. Bishop takes e4, captures in c3, lock up the whole board. Then I'm going to start my operations on the king side where I'm the strongest and see that black has literally no counterplay and has to wait and defend. After bishop c6, h4, queen e8, queen f4, making room for the rook to come in. Then the rook comes in. Then we bring the other one up. Everybody's coming to the party. Everybody's coming to the party here. It's lit through here. Queen a4, queen g4, rook h8, h5, and we live. Everybody's in the party. Everybody's involved. You know what time it is. h5, king g8, snap, snap, and rook h3. Blocking the file so that we can play king h2, snap, snap, e3, and takes on g6. Nasty, man. That line was sweet. e2, bro. I wish he would have played that. But e takes f2, bishop takes, king h2, c4, b5, and takes. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Hopefully you're learning, and you learned something about transforming an advantage. This is video 4 of Tournament Guidebook, Axioms, One Lines, and Mantras. That book's coming out. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, share this video, put comments under it, watch the other ones, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next video.